Look to the right, and you may get a brief view along the shambles. At the far end, you can see how the houses nearly touch at the top. It is said that two men can lean out of the windows and shake hands across the street. If you heard the shout, "Gardez-vous," you would very quickly get under the overhang of the buildings, as "Gardez-vous" means "watch out for the water," and meant that the contents of somebody's chamber pot was about to be deposited on your head. Looking ahead is the Church of All Saints pavement, which has a beautiful lantern tower instead of a spire. In medieval times, a fire used to be lit in the top of the tower in order to guide travellers safely back to the city. There was no street lighting then, and so York was not as easy to find after dark as it is today. Also, York was surrounded by a great forest, the Forest of Gull Trees. It was dangerous to be lost there at night, as it is recorded that there were wild animals and robbers in the forest. We move into Coppergate. It doesn't get its name from the metal copper as you might think, but from cupra, the Norse word for cup maker. It was when the new Coppergate shopping precinct was being built in the late 1970s and early 1980s that over 40,000 finds from a Viking settlement were unearthed, beautifully preserved by the silt and mud around here. What was found here was so important that it even changed the way we teach about Vikings in the national school curriculum. Today you can see what was found in the Yorkshire Viking Centre, where you can travel back in time over 1,000 years in York's history to experience the sights, the sounds and even the smells of Viking York. You can visit the Viking Centre from our next stop, but please remain seated until we arrive at the Clifford's Tower stop. At the end of Coppergate, on the left, is Castlegate, the original street to the castle. In Castlegate you will find the Church of St Mary's, which has the tallest spire in York, and Fairfax House, which is a beautifully renovated Georgian house, built between 1740 and 1745. As we move into a relatively modern street, Clifford Street, on the right, the York Dungeon is housed in the grand old Victorian Institute of Learning. It tells the grisly side of York's history, recalling tales of torture and misery, and stories of characters such as Dick Turpin and Guy Fawkes. We are now moving into Tower Street and the site of the castle. This is your stop for the Castle Museum, Clifford's Tower, York Boat River Cruises, the Yorkshire Viking Centre, York Dungeon, Fairfax House and St George's Field Coach and Car Park.